Gen Zs are masters of giving up, not grinding hard. Why are you so weak? Hey guys, the debate statement of the day is Gen Zs are quitters, not hustlers. And we have two teams, Muna and I, agree, yes, they are quitters, not hustlers. On the opposition team, we have the wonderful Zhe Liang and beautiful Ian Jivan, and they are saying, no, we are Gen Zs and we are not quitters.
That's right.
Okay, so just to define so that everyone is on the same page, Gen Zs are born between 1997 and 2009. They can be tarnished by the media as disrespectful, soft, work-shy, and disloyal.
Okay.
Yeah, started totally strong there, guys. All right, a 2022 Guardian article wrote that kids these days don't know the value of a hard day's work. They ask for too much, they do too little, and they don't respect hierarchies. They don't want to pay their dues. And Gen Zs, I believe, are killing the hustle culture that we millennials have worked way too hard, painfully hard to build, okay? Brick by brick, we get burnouts to climb the corporate ladder to make something of ourselves, and then Gen Zs are here to just kill the whole culture.
Yeah.
So the term quiet quitting is something I want to highlight because that surfaced in late 2022, and the Gen Z's power in the workforce is one of the reasons that quiet quitting has recently gained much traction. Gen Z is projected to hold 30% of the workforce by 2030. So how? Everybody going to quiet quit, is it? The term describes the recent trend of employees setting boundaries with work-life balance by limiting their workload to the bare minimum of what is required from them. And this was completely unheard of amongst the older generation who knew only to work till it hurts. But the hustle culture to me was an icon, okay? Hustle culture involves work consuming much of someone's time, where one's career becomes their lifestyle and top priority. In summary, hustle culture is a lifestyle that connotes that overworking is the only path to success and the best way to earn the respect of others. Quiet quitting, however, has become very popular and it has spread through social media, specifically through TikTok platforms. And who is the expert at TikTok? Gen Zs!
Oh, okay.
Gen Zs are the ones killing the vibe, killing the hustle culture, and are lazy.
The journal JAMA Pediatrics released a study in 2019 that reports 1 in 7 young adults or children have mental health condition, and this aligns with data that has been emerging over the past few years. Depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicide are all rising rapidly in Gen Zers. And a key factor in this is the rise of having overprotective parents. Terms like helicopter mom have gained popularity over the past few years because of the way parents shelter their children and deprive them of the experiences they need to grow strong and independent. Also, the heavy use of social media has been found to have relationships with depression and anxiety, particularly for girls. Also, the dependence on AI by Gen Zs, like how these two ChatGPT, the entire debate I checked beforehand, it breeds a sense of complacency, laziness, and demises their ability to tackle challenges independently. They cannot have this debate without ChatGPT. And universities and professors are now checking if essays are AI generated. Now, Gen Zs also make up the majority of quiet quitters, like she mentioned. Now, we all know about the Great Resignation, correct, during the COVID period.
Correct.
Now, did you know that two-thirds of bosses have reported that Gen Zs have the highest churn rate in their company, according to a Bloomberg survey of 72 executives whose firms employ about 400,000 staff. A 2022 Korn Ferry survey also found that Gen Z is more likely than other generations to leave or consider leaving a job due to inflexible work policies. Just that. Also, a 2022 Adobe survey found that 56% of Gen Zs plan to switch jobs in the next year. A Newsweek survey found that 39% of Gen Z plan to quit their jobs in the next year compared to 25% of all workers. And a 2021 Bankrate survey found that 77% of Gen Zers surveyed were looking for a new job. Also, a study by Person found that half of Gen Zs would quit their jobs if they were forced to come into the office. And also, the new term, lazy girl jobs. Have you heard of it? Of course you have. You guys are Gen Zs. You guys came up with it. It's a new phrase trying to normalize a new set of choices for Gen Z workers. Basically, it's lazy girl jobs that are low stress jobs, low effort roles that pay decently well, about 60 to 80k, that's what they said online, while allowing plenty of freedom and flexibility. And because of this, look at what the Gen Z have been doing to the entire work culture. They are normalizing low stress, low effort, literally low effort. That's what they call it. And they want to be paid decently while having a lot of freedom. And this is the culture of work that they are trying to cultivate for themselves, which is not what we do.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Just hustle
We
to
will
die lah.
work many hours for low pay.
In
some tough
Sometimes
labor.
I do it
I
for
will
free.
work long hours for little to nothing.
As long as it's work, you know, it's our
I can't live
personality.
without work.
Yeah.
So fierce like this one.
Yeah. God.
Hello there, Gen Z's over here, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about hustle culture that you guys were talking about, right? Working until you can no longer stand, and you're working for long hours for the bare minimum when it comes to wages. So you say that Gen Zs, they do the bare minimum when it comes to completing their work or responsibilities, but you're getting paid the bare minimum. Which one's worse? Your one is worse, lah. Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the hustle culture. All right. I think Gen Zs are redefining what it means to hustle. So back then it means working long hours, working non-stop. You gotta earn your respect in a company. You gotta climb the corporate ladder. But now Gen Zs have found other ways to climb the corporate ladder. So you don't have to stay at the same company for your entire life, only to be disrespected by some new employee that they hire down the road, probably Gen Alpha, who come in, hey, skibidi Ohio, Phantom tax your salary away, and there goes your pay, right? Right? That happens because people used to say that we value loyalty to the company, and then you realize actually you can be replaced quite easily, especially with AI. So Gen Zs are finding new ways to improve themselves at the workplace and upgrade themselves constantly, right? So that's about redefining what hustle culture means. And people say that, oh, you know, they care too much about mental health, they take time off, this and that. But isn't that good? Isn't that what our forefathers and everyone here has been working hard for? That we don't have to push our future generations to work as hard as we used to work, and to let them go through lesser hardship than we used to go through. No. This is why we have to upgrade ourselves. We have AI to help us do things better. It's not here to replace us, but to help us achieve certain goals faster and better. So you see, we completed this in what? 2 minutes lah. What took you 2 hours? 2 days?
No.
2 months. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think to share some statistics maybe, right? Like on his point, and you brought up even quiet quitting. So I think I want to highlight that Gen Zs, they want to work in things that have value to them. And they want to not just, they don't just want to like work in companies for the sake of the money. They want to work in companies that actually stand for similar beliefs.
Yes.
76% of Gen Z value work-life balance over job prestige, prioritizing flexibility and personal time. This generation is less likely to adhere to traditional office hours, with many opting for remote or flexible work setups. Site is from Deloitte 2020. Okay, a lot of Gen Zs also, they grew up with tech, and they've been able to leverage on internet to even like build different sources of income. Now there's not just one traditional way to earn money. You can even earn money online. So traditionally, do you need to have a 9-to-5 job, one income? Why have one income when you can have two incomes, or three, or even four? So I feel like Gen Zs are not like quitters, but they're not working hard, but they're working smart. That's right.
On that point, I
Yes.
think it's about redefining, like I said, hustle culture, right? So back then, we used to say that you work a 9-to-5 job, and then you have a good life. Everything's set up for you. You have family, you have kids, you get a house, you get a car, you pay off the loan and the debt for the rest of your life. But now, Gen Zs are finding different ways to achieve the same targets, or they have their own set of goals.
Yeah.
So your version of successful in life, is different from their definition of success.
Yeah.
So to them, it could be, working lesser hours, munching apple during a shoot.
Yeah.
You could be doing what you enjoy doing for lesser pay, but you also get better benefits in terms of your mental health, your happiness, work-life balance. I mean, you guys talk about climbing the corporate ladder, you get paid for working long hours, you get respected, right? But at what cost?
Yeah.
At the cost of your mental health, right?
That's right.
And on the day you burn out, or you see there's a lot of older generations, your parents, your grandparents, they do get depression as well.
Yeah.
They just cover it in a different way. And until things get out of control. So what do we do about that?
We
You
got
have
10 seconds.
10
Okay,
more seconds.
60% of Gen Z report having a side hustle while in school or early in their careers, demonstrating a strong inclination toward extra income and creative ventures.
All right.
I don't see millennials doing that.
Eh? What do you mean?
I don't see
Red
millennials.
card, he's attacking us. He's attacking us, yeah.
Attacking millennials.
Yeah, and we are what?
Boomers.
What did you say about the COVID? It is a great what?
Great
resignation. Okay, so we're talking about the Great Resignation, right? I think it's quite a funny point because they quit. Gen Zs, they quit more, but but they find another option to continue living, to make a living, and to find their passion at the same time easier than those who stayed with the company. Like,
I'm sorry, what
like-
gives you the proof to say that? Is that really true?
you see, Gen Zs, they are more willing to accept new technology, right? As we all know, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you've met people at
I
work
think I'm quite
who.
willing to.
Have you heard of
accept
this
new
thing?
technology
No, I think
as
I
a
also,
Gen Z.
yeah.
So
as
I don't
a-
think that
as a
statement is
millennial,
true.
Yeah.
That seems
Have
like
you
an
heard of this?
I want
assumption
to
that you have.
debunk it.
The
Okay, have
statement
we
from
heard what?
people
Yes.
at work who say like, if it's not broken, you don't have to change it.
Yeah.
With that mindset, then you never learn, you never progress lah.
Yeah.
So when Gen Zs they come around with new
Reinvent the
technology,
wheel.
exactly, they tell you that maybe the wheel should be
This way.
triangle.
Yeah, triangle wheel. Yeah.
Why always a circle? You know, they have Instagram. There's so many other things, like Jivan mentioned, right? They
Yeah.
have other ways to venture their business
Yeah.
and to make money, side hustles, instead of just laying away at a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
So during COVID is when a lot of people they get retrenched from their current roles because they can only do something that is no longer relevant during COVID.
Yep.
Or now with the rise of AI, you realize that some jobs are going to be replaced, but Gen Zs, they're more adaptable, they're quicker on their feet.
resilient.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
I'm
their
sorry,
resilience is in a
what
different way.
backs that up? That statement?
Yeah.
Experience,
Gen Zs are more
general,
resilient.
Yeah, more
general.
resilient than who?
Excuse me, they're pulling things
Then
out their
what?
ass. They're
Yeah.
saying stuff, assumptions.
Like, how do you confirm that a
asserting
Gen Z is more
Pull the
resilient
stats.
than another
Pull the stats.
generation? I mean, if you want to talk about resilience, then the Gen X or like were the people who were
boomer.
damn resilient,
Yeah.
Like,
What's
look,
the
they
boomer?
came from Gen X, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they lived through the war.
They came
Come
from
on.
nothing to
Yeah.
build this nation.
Whoa, whoa,
A
whoa.
great nation that is
Okay.
turning 60.
Yes.
60 years of independence.
Your
and
history lesson
built.
also later, lah. Okay.
We cannot compare to the efforts of Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, who worked
Wow.
so hard for
What is
Singapore.
This episode
Okay.
was brought to you by SG60.
Okay.
Eat healthy.
I think one thing that we can like give credit to the Gen Zs is that they grew up during COVID. One of a kind where they
We
had
all
to-
grew up during COVID. I'm
COVID,
so sorry, what?
but they had to study during COVID. So this was the only generation which they had to do online learning. They had to adapt to like a whole new learning environment, which is not what
Generation Alpha
used
also,
to.
but okay.
Okay, so Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, right? But now the focus is on Gen Z, sweetie.
Okay,
so
okay. So
Gen
self-centered, right?
Zs,
Everything all
according
about Gen Zs.
to a 2021 McKinsey
Okay.
report,
Wow.
okay, 87% of Gen Zs adapted to remote learning and work environments in 2020, a significant shift that required them to develop new routines and ways to stay productive. This
Okay,
shows how
wait.
resilient,
Okay.
to our point earlier, of Gen Zs when faced with drastic and
Sorry,
unexpected changes.
the stat is 80 what?
87%.
Okay, but 100% of the other working population had to adjust to remote working.
Exactly.
So what is the stats?
Where's the stats of that?
From
Pull
where?
it
Pull
up
up from
right
where?
now.
Yeah.
Pull it up
Yeah.
right now.
Big
Pull it up,
group.
pull it up
Big
right now.
group.
You mentioned how Gen Zs want to work on something that has value to them and they stand for similar beliefs. Number one, why are they finding work in some company they don't even believe in? Number two, you can build love and loyalty and believe in a company after working with them instead of waiting for this ideal company to just land on your lap. But instead, they're doing this stuff like quiet quitting and just job hopping.
Exactly.
And I don't know, lazy girl jobs. I
Yeah.
don't know. And they can work hard and smart, but it doesn't change the fact that they still quit easily. You haven't refuted the
Okay.
fact that they still do quit easily. And
Yeah.
that is the main point of our argument. You guys are quitters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you quit to do. The fact
Yeah.
is you still do quit.
Yeah.
But is it a
I
bad
think
thing?
that
Yeah,
Would-
because that is the main point of the argument. I mean, you said it yourself that like, yeah, Gen Zs quit often, but at the same time they are able to find something else. That's great, right? That shows
Yeah.
some sort of resilience.
Okay,
But
yeah.
the fact is, you do quit. You don't stick it out.
But
As
they
soon
quit
as
in a
something
different way.
upsets you,
They quit the job, right?
Yeah.
Like literally they leave the job, but they don't quit their other jobs.
Yeah.
In a way that they just leave this current role,
Yeah.
but it's for a better purpose. And as they're doing other things at the same time, it's not about quitting their life. Right?
but where are the stats of how many percent of Gen Z they
You give
do
me your other
have like
stat first.
many,
Your previous
many
stat
jobs
first.
at a time rather
Yeah.
than one job?
So 60% of Gen Zs actually have report to have a side hustle while in school or early in their careers. So this is clear statistics from Business News Daily, which shows a significant number of Gen Zs that actually they started working even during their studies. So I don't know, when you were in school, like were you still working or like
Yeah.
were you focusing on school?
both. I was working 2
Yeah.
part-time jobs.
Awesome. So then you have the same thing that Gen Zs have.
Yeah. So congrats, you're on our team.
So it doesn't make you any better.
Yeah, so I
So
don't
that
think,
completely diminishes your point. We are all the same. This is the norm. Everyone works and studies at the same
So
time.
that
Yeah, and
makes-
there's no
What is there to show off?
comparison.
What,
There's
you
no
think it's
comparison.
so big, wow, you work while studying. What to show off? Everyone does it, what?
Yeah, now. In this generation, who are the ones studying right now?
Remote employees are aged between 24 and 35. Remote worker statistics indicate that the average age of employee is between 24 and 35 years. Within this age group, 39% work remotely full-time and 25% do it on a part-time basis. The younger workforce is embracing the flexibility and autonomy of online work.
To the
Okay.
point where they refuse to go back to the office and they will quit if they are forced to go back
That
to the
sounds
office.
like my boomer
What a
colleagues. there.
trivial thing to quit
Yeah.
over.
And you know what? There's another thing that I want to bring up about
Yes.
Gen Zs. It's about paying your dues. So
Okay.
sometimes you enter a workforce. There are Gen Zs who feel entitled to be paid a certain amount
Right.
as a new person.
Right.
To have all these sort of privileges.
Right. Isn't that right? Isn't that the right way to do things?
It is right to a certain extent, but at
Yeah.
the same time, there is the concept of also paying your dues to really work hard, to start from the bottom, start
So
somewhere.
just because
in
you
order to
suffered,
build up.
then I have to suffer as well?
No, that's
It's
not
not
what I'm
suffering.
saying.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
is.
suffering. It's also like a grey area between like entitlement and actually knowing that
Right.
you need to work hard in order to achieve
But it's only
something.
entitlement if you are already convincing yourself that this is not a form of torture. You are convincing yourself that this is a norm. You tell yourself that, hey, I'm getting paid the bare minimum. Okay, you say that Gen Zs are doing the bare minimum, but you're getting paid the bare minimum. You're like, okay, borderline $3,000. I slay myself away 9 to 5, 6 days a week, and I get paid $3,000. You tell it, hey, tell the Gen
3,000
Z,
is bare
it's
minimum,
okay.
Isn't that the average?
Yeah.
I think they're changing.
With
I'm
inflation
so sorry
and
if you're
everything.
watching
Changing,
this and
ah.
he just
We're,
called
we're
you finance
changing
bare
the
minimum.
narrative. Like,
Yeah.
why should we stick to this, like modus operandi of like life? You know, we have to.
Outdated.
Yeah, I feel like Gen Zs. Who says like a Gen Z I cannot earn 10K a month? Like,
No one says
No
that.
one says that.
but like it seems that in your point where you say you have to like work in a company, slog it out, grind it out, it's like almost starting from the bottom. But why can't Gen Zs, start my own company? I want to be my
you
own
can.
boss, hire someone.
100%.
Okay, so
you
you're
can
talking about
decide to.
entering a
But
company,
I'm talking
right?
about entering a company. When you
Right.
first enter a company, you can't say like, "Hey, I'm new. I just graduated. I expect to be paid above the average."
Do
yeah.
Gen
Shouldn't we
Zs
just change the average?
Yeah, but that's not for
What, in
the
an
Gen
ideal
Z.
world?
Like that's how the world works at the current
Yeah.
moment.
Okay,
And,
secondly-
like, things are increasing, but
Right.
at the same time, you cannot come in and say like, "I want to be paid above the average."
Right, but I think
because
let's
I
talk
have
about
this
efficiency.
experience."
So it's not about how long you slay yourself away at work.
Yeah.
You can spend 10 hours working on one PowerPoint slide, or the Gen Z can come in and they're able to
And
do the same thing
ChatGPT.
and they give you the same quality
Quality
even better
and
in 10
standard.
minutes.
It has
Hey,
been
sometimes
proven.
the grammar all wrong,
It has
okay?
been proven that AI churns out work that lacks stuff like
Stats,
the
eh?
humanness.
Where's the
I
stats?
have. I'll pull it out. I just saw it. Yeah.
Pull it
so-
out.
Heart, soul, human connection, emotion.
Do you need human connection to tell you like these are the stats for last year? They can just put numbers.
Yes.
Numbers.
I need to feel these numbers.
You're gonna cry when I tell you. So last year we made $2 million.
Yes, and then I need to feel the wow, a resounding celebration from the human being who's telling me this good news.
Okay,
Where
thanks,
is
John.
all
Okay.
of that?
You're like, oh, thanks for the presentation, John. So the robot can do it for you, lah. Right. You don't have to work the same amount of hours if you can get it done as well. That's the whole point. Yeah.
So, for the past 2 rounds, the winning party is currently Jivan and
Let's go.
So, yeah.
Let's go, yeah.
What?
by 2 points.
Let's go.
What the hell? Why?
We'll just swap hands.
Okay.
Gen Zs, you're quit lah. You're quit too easily, I tell you. So we're talking about Gen Zs, they're quitters, they're not hustlers, right?
Yep.
I think it's okay to quit when you realize that this work is not meant for you, or you're not cut out for the job.
Yep.
It's not what you want to do. It's not where your passion lies. It's okay, but we find that Gen Zs tend to quit a bit too easily. Sometimes you have to go through.
We mentioned this point already. I just want
Yeah.
to say. Okay.
Why cannot? It's a
Continue,
it's a new thing, right?
Yeah.
No, but cannot repeat points.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never read the brief. See you, Gen Z, you lazy.
Yeah, just use ChatGPT only.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
So yeah, they tend to quit a bit too easily, and sometimes they forget that they still have to go through certain struggles even at work. A lot of times they expect other people to conform to their norms instantaneously, which is not ideally the case, which is not really the case in the world, right? I mean, ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
But when you go to a new environment, you have to see what people do when in Rome, right? Yeah. So when they go to a new company, they expect other people to follow the way they do things.
Yeah.
And they say like, hey, I know you guys have been shooting videos in this particular format for the longest time. And it's been working out well for you guys.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm a Gen Z. Listen to me. I have zero work experience.
Yeah.
But trust me, I'm a Gen Z. I know what I'm doing. And they bring this new whole idea in, which does not work out. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, whatever. It's okay. We just do it again now.
Yeah.
Bo chap lor.
I feel like that's an exaggeration of a real life case. Some ideas work out, some ideas don't. It doesn't
Yeah.
just come from Gen Zs. It comes
Yeah.
from millennials
Anybody.
and people who are 50 and older.
Correct.
Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, but you're speaking from a position where you have zero experience in the real working world, and you expect other people to follow.
But they're bringing their expertise in with
From
regards
where?
to, for example,
Oh, they-
social media or something. They might not have work experience, but they've had
Okay.
experience using these apps, creating content on
My
these
Amma
apps
use
with
Facebook
these
lah.
technologies.
Then she also know use technology lah.
Can it's
And-
about it's about teamwork, what? It's about like putting in effort in the new job that you just got.
Right?
So you
Yeah.
also want to be part of the process.
So
Correct, you wanna be a
because-
part, but you have
because
to
they have
learn
no
the
work
ropes first.
experience, they shouldn't be heard. They
Mhm.
shouldn't
Yeah.
be listened to. Their ideas
They should
shouldn't
be.
be tried.
They should be, but they shouldn't expect everyone else to follow them to a T.
No,
because
but
they
they're
come-
not expecting that. Who
Oh,
says
they
they're
are.
expecting that?
I'm saying that.
Oh,
okay.
Oh.
Then that's
Yeah.
fine.
That's right. I can quote from myself.
Your own research.
Yes.
Gen Zs are also quitters. I think part of why they quit is also because like they have like unrealistic expectations. I think they are the generation that have like, you know, okay, according to a McKinsey report, I found that 60% of Gen Z workers felt that they weren't given enough opportunities for growth or advancement in their current job, which might contribute to quitting behaviors. So that's still on them for quitting. Wait, hang on. My second point. They're also a generation that grew up with like instant digital gratification. Some argue that Gen Zs might expect immediate rewards or results from their effort. When things take longer to achieve, they may feel discouraged or impatient or choose to abandon their pursuits prematurely. So 2 pointers, unrealistic expectations and instant gratifications, which points you didn't bring up as to supporting why Gen Zs are quitters.
Personal attack.
How's that
I feel
personal
like
attack?
the
Personal
two
How's that personal
factors you
attack?
brought up applies to people from every generation. For example, the easiest one I can find, if I load a web page and it doesn't load in the first like 2 seconds, I quit, I give up.
You sound like a Gen Z.
Yeah.
But that's exactly it. Like it's not the behavior of a Gen Z. Like that's what the society is kind of branding it as. But it
all of us,
transcends
we are
all
spoiled.
Based on what
generations
you were
too.
saying, that you're saying that, you know, the older generation, including you guys, right, and the boomers, whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Slightly
you know
older.
how to just slug it out at work. You know how to
Yeah.
just keep on pushing yourself and climb the corporate ladder. You work yourself until you can no longer stand. And you said that's not the case for Gen Z. So I'm just using your point here, which is that
You cannot use our point,
Yeah.
Sus.
Also, can I just cite
Okay,
some like
yeah.
dropout rates? So Gen Z's college dropout rate is one of the highest among all generations.
Alamak.
That's a new point that you didn't bring up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, according to the National Student Clearinghouse data, the challenges of adjusting to remote learning during the pandemic, the rising cost of education, mental health struggles have contributed to this trend. So trend. So this is happening from Gen Z's generation. Quitting not just in work, but starting from school days, they're quitting already.
and let's talk about the hustle culture. So
I'm so sorry,
know,
wait.
yes.
Prices are to blame for why Gen Zs are dropping out. From 2010 to 2022, tuition has risen an average of 12% per year, while earnings for young college educated workers have remained mostly flat over the last 50 years. Is it our fault that we are quitting? It's because we can't afford it.
Tuition grant.
It's not,
Yeah,
that-
but
it's not as
Bursary.
easy.
But it's not as easy
Scholarship.
to get that. It's not as easy to get that. Not
Slog
everyone
it
has
out.
the
Slog
same
it out.
privilege.
The millennials
So-
did it the
Yeah,
same way.
but just to add to this, Gen Zs are actually every bit ambitious and even more anxious as the overworked millennials. Okay, we would know, but they are actually redefining what success looks like at work and in
Point
life.
already used.
Hustle, no. Hustle culture
used
is
that,
not.
yeah.
No, hustle culture is not there. It's just getting a rebrand. Okay?
That's what I said. That's what I said.
No, you
what I said from
didn't
the start.
say that.
That's my
You
first
didn't say
argument.
that. So I'm saying that 40% of Gen Zs are hustling, not quiet
Hmm.
quitting. New research reveals that 1 in 3 people have a side job due to living expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Things are getting more expensive. So it's really just how we view the next generation. The millennials are imposing our trauma of like hustling onto the next generation, and we think like the next generation has to hustle as hard as us. But times have changed. Things are more expensive, and according to the research, the side hustle trend spans generations. 36% of millennials, 30% of Gen X, and not me, sorry, I'm not Gen X. 21% of boomers, and have at least 2 jobs. So Gen Zs are the most impacted group, with 40% having 2 or more roles, a figure that suggests that quiet quitting is no more than the need to be at the next job on time.
Exactly. And the Achievers Workforce Institute did a research and they found that Gen Zs want to have hard conversations at work, but managers aren't ready for it, which is why they are moving towards quiet quitting or quitting jobs, because the company is not providing them with what they need, not what they want, but what they need in a workplace.
Okay.
Also, my next point, with the COVID pandemic, opportunities disappeared for the kind of part-time employment and internships that undergraduates were once able to have to build their resumes. They now finish college with a diploma in hand, but they lack the real world experience and credentials for which employers look. So you brought up the point about how all these Gen Zs have no work-life experience. Is it their fault that they don't have work experience when they go into their first job? They were denied internships.
Yes, I understand.
yeah.
But I'm not saying that it is their fault for not having work experience. Even internship does not count as work experience in a lot of companies.
Yep.
I'm saying that they expect others to listen to them wholeheartedly and to take their advice for whatever it is at face value, just because they are Gen Z and they will know new things better. So that is something they have to.
There's a 这样 statistic.
No. I'm telling you, this is like an observation from myself, right? I'm just saying it. There's no stats to back it up.
Personal
Yeah.
anecdote.
Yeah.
So personal.
So they do expect other people to listen to them a bit more than other generations. So why is that so? See, they see different expectations online, right? So you have TikTok, Instagram, and they see that these healthy workplaces, and they want every single place out in the world to be like the best ones that they see online. But even you go to a restaurant, right? It's not every single restaurant is like a 3-star Michelin restaurant, right? It's not always the case. You have to adapt to the surrounding, to the environment that you're putting yourself in. And two, when it comes to mental health, right? So we know it's important, but sometimes some Gen Zs use it as an excuse to get away from certain things. So we know you have to take care of your mental health. Very important. But some of them expect things to be done in such a way that they don't feel any stress, any pressure at all. Which I think is unrealistic.
Wake up your idea, Gen Zs.
Yeah, so it's okay to feel stress and whatever at work, right? And you have to go through some of it. But some Gen Zs say like, no lah, this one is, I don't like to do it, so I won't do it at all.
Okay, that's all fair, I think. I'm not going to give you a green card, but fair. But I feel like whatever you've told us is not just on Gen Zs. So the statement here is that Gen Zs are lazy. I don't think it's specifically towards Gen Zs itself.
Then I could say the same about every single statement. It's not meant for Gen Z.
No, but it's not, because here's a 2014 study on
let's
millennial preparedness for the workplace. So you know how I say the older generation is always imposing our traumas on the younger generation? This happened in 2014 to the millennials. 70% of older respondents said they feel millennials were unwilling to pay their dues, which is what we said as millennials towards Gen Zs. 74% of those same respondents felt millennials lack strong work ethic. Again, older to younger generation. Meanwhile, 89% of millennials believe they do have strong work ethic, and only 55% of millennials are willing to pay their dues. So what I'm saying is, it really is not pinpointing and saying that Gen Zs are lazy. I believe that it's perhaps time for us to look more towards the strength of each generation and work towards a better work environment, better economy, and find out what each generation need.
Also, evidence shows that newer generations measure highly on traits that their older counterparts might consider a sign of weakness. 2010 study examined millennials graduating university showed that they have more traits associated with low resilience. So it has been proven with every generation that we are considered weaker.
Bebop.
So the winner of this debate would be Jivan and Zania.
Moderator, you secretly dating them, is it?
Red flag. What's this? Secret attack. Personal attack.
Our moderator
Personal attack.
is Gen
-2 now.
Z. Y'all can have.
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad.
I like to thank So Young for his
Jivan for his
support.
working from office is extremely tough. But we made it.
Yay!
Alright, so Muna and I didn't win. Big surprise. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Let us know what you want to hear us talking about next. And of course, thanks to our beautiful guests for joining us this week. We'll see you next time. Maybe not me, because I quit.
This is not quite
Quietly.
quitting.
Yeah,
This is
loudly
Loudly quitting.
Bye-bye.
Loud quitting. Alright, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't quit, don't quit.
Wow, she really quit.